This is Keith, otherwise known as Uhfgood. I want to try to make this video a little bit quicker because I just tried to do a video and it was like 40 minutes long, and I don't really have that much to say. So I'll try to be brief and I'll try to take you through it. If you noticed the map that I was working on last comes up, it's because I got some save and load settings functions, so that when you exit, it'll remember where you last were and what your current settings were and all that, and what map you're working on, which is listed below. So that way, that if you're making a new map based on another map, you'll know which one you're working on. And as you can see here, if you move down here, it sort of becomes more translucent so that you can see where you're painting stuff. And a thing that I just added since the last video was, of course, these rulers here. If you look, they have the pixel numbers on them for each of the tiles, for like every 32 tiles, for vertical and horizontal. You can't see the vertical very well because it's blue and the background's blue mostly. But you can see here where it goes, going all the way to the end here. See? Also, a whole bunch of stuff I added here in the layer tab. Basically, you switch between layers just by changing it. I made this feature where you didn't have to press a change layer button to actually change layers, because it's a little bit tedious and you want it to immediately work in here. However, with the tile set, you actually have to change you have to select change tile set to change it, and that's an older tile set that I'm not going to use here. What else can I say? I added checkbox to the user interface so that see, repeat. Here, let's go to a different layer. Let's go all the way back to the background layer. Turn repeat off. See, there's that much blank space. In fact, if you play it, you notice it kind of streaks like that. See, that's because there's nothing erasing the background except for your tiles. You can do repeating on the X and the Y. For this example, I'm just repeating on the X. You can resize your layer. For instance, let's go ahead and resize this by 1. See, you can do it like that. Resize, and if you notice, there's a 1 blank area, and we'll just resize it back. Resize. There we go. Another interface thing I added besides the checkboxes are the number boxes. You can change the parallax amount by doing this. 1.0 means it goes exactly with the player, which is synced up to middle ground 2. So if you want it to scroll less, just make it less than 1. If you want it to scroll faster, more than 1. If you don't know what parallax scrolling is, it's basically simulating depth by moving the layers at different speeds, so that the furthest layer, like if you're riding in a car and you're looking out the car window and there's mountains in the background, they seem to move. They seem to virtually stand still, whereas your foreground, like bushes and trees and stuff, the closer they are to your car window, the faster they go, or the faster it's perceived that they go, because you're actually moving. Anyways, it does remember the tile set that you're on. See, this is the collision tile set. You can turn off your layers, whatever current layer you're on. That was the collision layer, which is just like a white square, and it shows transparently over the top. So that way you can isolate layers if you want, to better see what you're doing. And then I added this so that you wouldn't have all that stuff to look at. Thing to keep in mind is that the editor doesn't show the parallax scrolling. You have to wait until you actually get into the program, into the level. Here, let's try this again. Here, those little red deals are entities for a upcoming game I'm going to make with this. As you can see, the layers move. They move a little bit slower than the player, but the further back you go, the slower they are. See, and that does that little parallax dealing. Another thing that I added to the level editor is the fact that it will save the map when you play it, so that way you can just exit out of the game if you want to not go back to the map editor. So that's pretty much it. You know, I added the repeat, the parallax, and the change in layers, and there's probably still a few things that I need to do, a few bugs to fix. I need a clear layer button that I'll implement in the future, and this entity tab might not even be here because you can make layers. You can paint anything on any layer, and if you paint them on the entity layer, then later I can go into the program and say, well, this tile in the entity layer means to place the entity here, and so I might not even need this extra tab. But that's pretty much it. I did actually add a cancel button to the list box. I also had it to where you don't have any button like in the layer list box, and it's basically just little things like that. If you want a new map, everything is off. The repeats are off. The parallax speeds are 1 times, and the width and height are 1 screen's worth of tiles, 80 by 45 tiles. And then you resize the layers as you want. Also, if you resize Middle Ground 2 here, MG2, it will also resize the collision, basically the three collision layers, or basically the 3 invisible layers, the collision layer, the entity, and the item layer. It'll resize them as well, because your middle ground layer is your main layer. And I'm thinking possibly moving the main layer up to foreground 1, or maybe even having its own layer where the parallax layers are all 9 of them are the parallax ones. But I haven't really decided yet. There isn't a whole lot of games that actually have foreground objects in front of the player, because that would obstruct the view. But there's some that actually use it to pretty good effect. They minimize it. They keep it around the edges. They make sure that there isn't a lot of clutter, but still adding some stuff to the depth or perceived depth. Anyways, that's about it. Thanks for watching.